Hi, hello and welcome. My name is Chris McAuliffe. I am PointCab COO, and I have the honor of kicking off this webinar on PointCab's all-new 4.0 version. Thank you all for joining in this webinar in such large numbers. As you saw in the video in the beginning of this session, we have not just changed a lot in our software, we also rebranded and restructured our products for a healthy future. We are happy to share almost all of the achievements and changes that we have made to PointCab Origins. You might ask yourself, what is Origins? Well, I'll get to that in a bit. This versions of PointCab Share will be released together with PointCab's Origin 4.0 on the 7th of April 2021. That's going to be next week. Let's start with the decision to give the existing package a more complete name, differentiating our company name from the products and services we offer. What does that exactly mean? It means that our two software packages, PointCab Suite and PointCab 3D Pro, are from now on called PointCab Origins and PointCab Origins Pro. We found the name very fitting as PointCab, in a mathematical sense, works with the origins in orthophoto approach and is, of course, the first and original software from PointCab, so to speak, PointCab's origin. Last but not least, we're also launching an all-new website for PointCab. Reflecting all the changes, we've restructured the content and design to give you the best possible information overview. Additionally, we've added a blog that will launch shortly to keep you updated on the newest PointCab developments and case studies. That's pretty much all to be said from my side of things. Without further ado, I want to pass on to Dr. Richard Steffen, CEO, co-founder, and inventor of PointCab software, and one of our esteemed R&D senior developers and also our team lead for support, Martin Graner. Those two gentlemen will bring you up to speed on the latest and greatest. Enjoy the presentation.
Thank you very much, Chris. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are very proud to have finalized one of our biggest and largest software releases since PointCab was invented in 2011. My colleagues and I, we did a lot of software maintenance, so-called refactoring on the core components of PointCab Origins to bring us up to speed for future releases to come. In addition to that, we added a ton of new features and customer requests. The latter would not have been possible without you. So thank you for providing us with a lot of great ideas and recommendations what we can put into the software to build an even better and greater PointCab point cloud processing product. PointCab, of course. I'm happy to announce that all but one feature have grown to a majority. What does majority mean to us? I mean, you can directly hear without me going into this is Martin, the German engineer accent, that we are Germans. And as Germans, we adhere to certain standards, but this one feature does not meet this yet. But we will get into more details about that later. Guess that should be sufficient for introductions. Let's fire up PointCab Origins and let's dive straight into the most recent and greatest new improvements and features we have added there. We won't capture here everything, only the ones, the biggest things. If you want to see the complete list, please visit our website and go there to the changelog to check everything out. And with that, let's dive straight into the important changes or the most important changes for existing customers regarding PointCab. And what is that, you might ask? Let me open the old PointCab version, PointCab 3.9. So you directly see the first change. PointCab 3.9 and PointCab 4.0, PointCab Origins 4.0 can be installed side by side. Of course, it is not possible to run them both simultaneously, like in the old versions, but you see here, you need to terminate one of these. So I just click on terminate and use PointCab Origins, but you're able to have them installed side by side. So you can always go back to PointCab 3.9. You can finish your projects there and then start freshly with Origins 4.0. And you don't have this intermediate file state. And of course, in the meantime, you can install 4.0 Origins and can check it out already. What you see here now is the first init settings. You can see here the light theme, dark theme, and the toolbar behavior. So if I click on light theme, you see the known color of PointCab, but standard will be the dark theme. In addition, we have the toolbar behavior. If you like to have the old looks and feel of PointCab, then you can choose your all tools visible, and then you get all your tools visible there, like you are used to. But the new standard will be drop-down toolbars, tools, so it is a little bit more cleaned up here. So let's apply that, and of course here for the US market we have the imperial settings, so you can set everything to imperial directly. What you see here directly on the first side is here, the last projects. You have a complete list together with a project name, which in this case is in German. You see here the project images, a preview, and the path, of course. You see here no preview available. This means this is not registered yet. So you directly see on the first look which is registered and which is not. And with the image, you have a good overview which project you might open up next. Of course, here at the bottom, we have the get in touch things, how you can reach us, phone number, email, website. And on the right side here, we have an overview page over the newest developments at PointCab and links to helpful resources, for example, this getting started videos. Let me just open here one of the projects, perhaps the first one, so I can show you more about the things we have done here. I mean, you see we have changed here everything. The looks and feel are now like a software should be in the 21st century and not this old ugly feel anymore. And the behavior, for example, is now that if I go here over the orthophotos, then I can select the tool in there, like the layout and section tool, which everybody knows and loves. Click on there to select it, and then create a section here. And as you can see here on the left side, we have a quick access bar. So the last tools we used are directly there. So for example, I can use the panorama here, click that, it's active, and then I can open a panorama directly if I like to. We have changed all the images here, so they are up to date and look a lot nicer. And we think with this overview, PointCab should be a lot easier to use and feels a lot newer. Richard, do you like to add something to the new looks?
Yeah, sure. If you prefer the old style, then please go to the settings and graphical user interface, and you can go to the old style where you have all the tools available in the taskbars.
Yeah, you have the light mode here and the second option under GUI. This is but I think this went very well with how it looks now. But of course, not everything is only looks. We need to look into everything in more detail. PointCab is it's now 10 years old, and we needed to adapt a lot of things internally, the project structure and the files, and therefore we broke the backwards compatibility. This means PointCab 3.9 and PointCab Origins 4.0 are not compatible anymore. What does this mean directly? I have here a project. Here you see it. It's called Demo House 3.9. This was created with PointCab 3.9. I can open that with this version. So let's do that. Open. I go to Demo House 3.9. I click on Open, and then you'll get a question. The project file needs to be updated. You are not able to open this project in older versions of PointCab Origins anymore. Are you sure? Yes, we are. So let's click on yes. And now you directly see the project file is opened as standard. You see there was already created layout and a created section which was not processed, and everything is there. So for example, I can open the layout there and it's there, and I can use it like you are used to. But now I am not able to open this anymore in PointCab 3.9. Let me repeat, you are not able to open this here in PointCab 3.9 anymore. The project is empty or could not be read. So, or let's leave that open and change the language back to English. Yeah, restart. But what you can do here is when you updated a project from version 3.9, not if you created a new one, only when you updated one. We are writing a zip file. It has the date and the name of the project and backup in there. So you can revert the state of your project. I just go in there. This is a zip file. I overwrite everything on the right side. So I copy it over there and say, yeah, please replace everything. And now if I open the project again, demo host 3.9, I'm able to open that again in 3.9. So if you updated your project and it was a mistake and you need to roll back, you are able to do that. All right, this was that from my part. This was the important changes, or the first part from me. I'd like to give the mouse and everything else to Richard. And the next thing is the project encryption. So, Richard, the stage is yours. Here you go.
Thank you, Martin, for this introduction. Yeah, from my side, hello to this webinar. I'd like to show you some features in PointCab we introduced recently, and I'd like to start with importing a new project, and this is a drone data set. So if you are going to the advanced option, now you have two fields here, two new fields. What we can do now is to encrypt a project before while importing. So why this is useful? Let's say you have a project you want to transmit via FTP or a cloud shared folder. Sometimes you have the security issues that nobody should be able to open this data or to capture this data for themselves. Or you are in a huge company and multiple persons have access to the data, but you want to limit the restriction and you want to have a password protection. This is what you can do. And let me say, okay, oops, the mouse is there. You need at least, you need to have at least 4 letters for the password, and I take 5 now, and you have to match them, of course. And then I say save and import this project. So now the LSD files are created and also encrypted automatically. And after the import, the project will be opened automatically. So of course, now he knows, okay, this project is encrypted, and you just type in the correct password. If you don't, of course, you cannot open it. And we say open. And after the now the standard views will be opened and created. Well, good. This was the first feature I want to introduce. So now you can encrypt your projects for security reasons, and you can share it online and send the password by phone, for instance. Good. Let's.
I want to add there that the encryption is very secure. So it's IS 256.
Yes. So it's unlikely that anybody can decrypt the files. Good. Let's go to the next.
As long as you don't take away a password like QWERTY, right?
Right. So let's go to the next feature. Of course, if you have a project on a shared drive, multiple users can access the data at the same time. from different computers. So what we did here, we had some conflict with this issue in the past. And what we did here is that we create a log file for this project for the first user who's opened the project. Here you see the log file. In the log file are some informations about who logged it and so on. And of course, if you open the project now, or the project is open, and you open the project now from a different computer, then PointCab Origins says, okay, this file is protected by another instance of PointCab, but you can choose to open this file, of course, then in PointCab Share. We demonstrate this here now with another project. It doesn't matter because we have a second instance. This is the same window, and he will ask you, okay, you can use PointCab Share to dive into this project and open this project with PointCab Share. So also PointCab Share has been updated with this release. And what we want to show you as a special feature, if you open a scan, and okay, thank you, Martin. We can open the scan, and of course now we have this 3D view, and some customers ask us to make measurements in the 3D view because the 3D view is sometimes for people more understandable and easier to use. And of course, what we can do now is if you use PointCab Origin, we also save these measurements into the scans. And if you reopen it later in PointCab Origin, then you have the measurements available also in the scans. Good. So let me take the mouse, Martin. Thank you. Okay, let's show you the next possibility in PointCab. Of course, you see here in the standard views, we generate the standard views automatically with the point density, so the kind of X-ray image. And if you want to have the same layout as with color information or with reflectivity information, in the past it was necessary to duplicate a layout or a section and change the settings differently. What we can do now is, let's say I create a new section here and adjust the elevations. And here in the job editor, we have now new possibilities to set. So what we introduced here is we call it sheets. So you have the sheets for different type of layers. And these sheets will be computed automatically in the same time. And you can activate different sheets. Of course, you can activate the reflectivity sheet, the color sheet, and here a new shading sheet. I will show you in a second. So index makes or is useful if you have terrestrial scans. And we also integrate the delta tool completely into the section or layout and section tool now. So we can activate the delta. You can, of course, make the settings for the color map. And also we integrate the PDF export. So what does it mean? You don't need to make all the copies for the different sheets or different type of layouts, one with color, one with reflectivity. Now everything is processed at the same time. So this, if you need different information or reflectivity, color, shading, or something else, this improves the computation speed dramatically. So let's say I calculate this layout now, and we will calculate that.
And as you can see now, it's just writing the DWGs, and that's practically it. Everything else is parallelized, so everything is processed in parallel.
So, right. So now when we open the layout here, you will see the point density information at the first place. And then we introduce here this small button. And if you click there, you say, okay, we have the layout. And here we have the reflectivity sheet, color sheet, shading sheet, I will show you in a minute, and the data sheet. Let's go to the reflectivity. Yeah. Or move to the color. Here we have the color sheet. And let's go to the shading sheet. What is shading? You maybe know it from the cartography or in the field of archaeology. You like to have this shading, this hill shading, where you have a light source and you create a view depending on the elevation model. Especially in the archaeology field, it's very interesting because the shading will make small differences in the elevation more visible. You see this especially here on this field where you have small differences in height, but you immediately say structures here, and this helps you to see the differences very easily. So this sometimes you see this also in documentations where they use the shading feature for make structures more visible. So, and of course, at the end you have this delta tool. Of course, you can measure in them. Take the 3D point or the distances, and this is not dependent on the sheet, of course. Well, yeah, this when you are going to the folder where we create this, then you see here the PDF file we created with the layout and the delta, and of course the known statistic about the elevation model. And of course, you see here the DVG files also for color, for delta, for layout, and reflectivity we created. So this helps you to introduce them all together in your CAD system, and you can there switch between the different visualizations. Good. I think that's from my side. I will give it back to Martin and show the next features, please.
Sure. Thanks, Richard. I think the sheets is a really neat feature because with that you're able to create deltas and section at the same time at the same position and don't need to fiddle around to get them at the same location, right? So this is perfect. So let's open here another project. What do we have next? I mean, you heard about the sheets. Now the next big thing, the shortcut manager. Oh, everybody wants to have a shortcut manager. Everybody needs a shortcut manager. Let's open the settings and here on the, or yeah, here, settings. The last tab is named shortcuts, and here you directly see all the shortcuts which are in PointCab, and you can set your own ones. So for example, let's go here to the Action Cloud Export. You want to use the Cloud Export tool, and you want to give it, let's say F6, because the advanced importer is currently F6. Why not? So if I click now F6, as you can see here, the advanced importer is here open in the background, but we want to have that in the Cloud Export. So we choose the Cloud Export, we click on Record, and we click F6. You see here F6 is popping up. I click on Stop Recording, and oh no, shortcut is used by Action Advanced Importer. Damn it. Advanced Importer, what are you doing? So I choose the Advanced Importer, and I just delete the shortcut from there. So F6 is now deleted from the project and can't be used. I use the Action Cloud Export, and I try to record the F6 button again. Stop. It is set, as you can see here. And yeah, no Cloud Export visible. It's in the 3D tools now here, Cloud Export. But you see my mouse here somewhere moving on the right side. If I click F6, bam, Cloud Export is selected. Let's do it again, F6, and then as you can see here, I'm able to create directly a Cloud Export. And you can set, yeah, all shortcuts yourself like you want to use them. All? No, only the ones which are not gray, because the gray ones are standard shortcuts. You can't change them, but everything else you can change. It might be helpful to look out for these little symbols, because these little symbols are depending on the tool, of course, so you can directly see which tool it is, but of course you see it here in the name as well. So distance is the distance tool with a distance image there. All right, this was that to the shortcuts. Might speed up your workflows if you use them correctly a lot, I guess. So yeah, let's delete this. The next big thing are the improvements in the vectorizer. So as you saw here, I've already created a section here. If I calculate that now, fingers crossed, and I open it, we are now able to detect not clear edges in our outer vectorizer as well. So let me adapt here the histogram a little bit. So you see here now we have here the lines as well, and let's try to find the lines there. And you see it was able to detect a lot more lines. Like in the old version 3.9, it wouldn't detect that much lines. Of course, it will be a lot better if you have clear edges, but it is working now here in the not so clear edges as well. I mean, everywhere where the more points are over each other, it will now detect lines there. With that, about the auto vectorizer, let's open a prepared vectorizer here in this layout. And what we have done there. We have added some features, so you are able to provide a sketch of a layout a lot faster. So you can give, for example, the room sizes to your customer and the distances. For example, here I've selected this vectorizer, I've cleaned it up. Every line, every polygonal line is closed. You see it here that these corner markers are with edges and are not round. So we know everything is closed. And then I can here press this button, convert to distance. And let's do that for, for these three, for example. And you see in the background directly is something popping up here. So let's hide the vectorizer lines. So we can see here the lines directly, 12 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters. We can perhaps set here and start and an end arrow. So we directly see how long these should be. So now it's nice that you can create the distances out from vector lines, and you don't need to go into your CAD system and do it there. You can directly do it with one click in PointCab. But is there more? And yes, there is. If I select the vectorizer, there's a button, it's called Convert to Areas. What does it do? It will convert all closed polygons, which all are, into areas, into these areas. So convert to areas, chakalaka, there it is. Let's delete the biggest one, the outer area, because we don't need it. And again, here we hide the vectorizer lines and the vectorizer points. And you directly see here, we have now every room size directly there out of the vectorizer group. And for example, we can change here the color, change color opacity here. Let's make it blue. And then you can just export it. For example, if you use the shortcuts, shortcut manager, F11, F12 here, save image file as, and then you can choose. Or of course, the well-known web export, you choose your area. Let's only provide a PDF file, so I disable the HTML. And let's have a look there, show in folder, web export, of course, all the information you can change. And here you see the room sizes directly as provided, together with the line length of the buildings which I have created there. So it's very easy and very fast to create these things there. All right, was that all to the vectorizer? Not yet. there is one more feature I'd like to show there. So let's show the vectorizer again. Normally, when you import a project, it's not aligned like that the house walls are nicely to the X and Y axis. Normally it's diagonal somewhere into the room, right? So what can you do there? The easiest step, or the steps you were doing beforehand, where you take the transform align tool, you create it here, you put this origin somewhere where you like to align it. Then you zoom in very, very, very carefully, so you're able to align it very properly there. And then, you hope for the best. And of course, then you can align it. What have we added here? So we have a slice, we have created a layout here. Then what we can do, we can use the auto vectorizer to just find the most valuable lines there. We don't need to do anything else with the auto vectorizer there. We create an align, and then there's another button called main vector direction. If I click that, the align tool is automatically aligned to the most to all the lines in there. They are calculated, and the main vector direction is calculated from the vectorizer, and then the line is of course aligned to them. So it's very easy and very fast to just use the auto vectorizer, find some lines, and use this feature to get the complete project aligned properly. Richard, do you have something to add on the vectorizer? I think I've made everything clear on that, right?
Yes. Very good.
Great, perfect. So what do we have in our magic bag of new features next? Layers. So for all old customers who already use PointCab 3.9, you all know that you're able to set layers for your vectorizer tools here in the vectorizer options. For example, this is on vectorizer group. Perhaps we say we rename that and say outer wall or something. And of course, you can change that for everything here. For the single lines, let's only do the 3 here and not everything. But of course, you're able to do that for everything else as well. You see here the section, which I've calculated, it's on the layer PointCab section. But if I create a new one, for example, let's put it here. And let's say it's not PointCab section, but it's section in the house. Great name. I know I'm very, I have the best names ever. And now we can export it as well. And the layers are they are in your DWG-DXF files, so you can use them in your CAD system. They are set directly in there, but you are able to use that feature directly in PointCab as well to hide and see layers. Perhaps you already saw it when I here opened the Elements Visibility tab, but it's there with layers as well. So I can hide complete layers. For example, if I go back here to this one, you know, I've changed the layers here. So the outer wall will of course hide here this stuff. And if I hide now the PointCab vectorizer group, it will hide everything else. So it's very easy to hide these things as well. And of course, if I now, for example,
short question, the vectorizers, can we see this in different colors then? That we have different colors for the layers?
Great question. Yes, of course. We are able to set our own colors for height points and for vectorizer lines. Let's go to the settings, to the general tab, and here you see groups. And for example, I use the outer wall layer, so I select this, and then I can set the color myself. Let's do this in green, for example. I click OK, OK, and then the vectorizer lines are green. And this will work for 3D points as well. So if I go to Sketch 3D point, if I set here a point, it's on the layer PointCab height point. So of course, these are now pink. But if I change this, and this will be remembered. Every next set point is of course green. And if I, for example, here change it again to a PointCab layer, it will be back to pink because we didn't choose a color there. All right, that was that to the layers. Let's go to the next thing. Let's edit here this one. We have the layers. We have projective planar. What is projective planar? All people who are using a 2D CAD system, so a CAD system which is only showing you XY coordinates, no Z coordinates, will be very pleased with that feature. You see, I've already changed it here in the CAD options to projective planar. You know the old option 3D, planar, and planar origin, but now the projective planar is new. So let's calculate this. What does it do? Planar always means the Z coordinate is flipped along into the plane. So we have a wall which is standing upright, and we flip it into the XY plane. But with the projective planar option, we are able to include the direction to the origin. So PointCab Origins can now deflect the origin with the projective planar option. You see here, for example, this wall here, I've created a section here, and I've created a section here. We see both walls in there, or we should see the walls in there. Perhaps we should set it a little bit higher. So the angle is somewhat similar, so -1 degree, and we have here -0 degrees. So the angle is not similar or is not identical, but if it would be identical, then they are exactly like behind each other. If it is a little bit different, it doesn't matter because still they should be at the same position. Let me show that to you directly in AutoCAD. So we have the section 1. Let's open that here. You see, if I look from the top, then of course, there was a shortcut. I don't know if it was Shift or something, so I'm able to move that a lot better. So we have here the first section. Let's insert the other one, section 1, section 2, section 2. Here it is, same position. And now if we look at this wall and I use the great layer feature we have, you can see that I'm able to click it on and off, and you see they are completely at the same location, or they are somewhat at the same location. If I have the same angle there, they are completely at the same location there. So this will be very useful for people who want to draw through their walls there on a 2D CAD. I mean, in 3D, of course, everything is in 3D, so it doesn't matter there. But for 2D CAD users, this is a neat feature. All right, then next thing we have added. Some people of you might know, yeah, let's delete this as well. We have added snapping to the vectorizer lines with the version 3.9. So you see here the red cross, I'm able to snap directly to it when pressing Alt. So if I press Alt, and let it press, and this red cross is there. The customers came back and said, this is not sufficient. We need it for every tool as well. So if I take this sketch, the height point tool, I'm able to do that here as well for the height points. Or if I take the polygonal section, for example, I'm able to snap directly here to the corners as well. Richard, why might snapping be helpful to our customers as well? Why should they use snapping?
Sure. If you make a section on the outer wall, for instance, in the past you had to zoom in detail and create your section very precisely. So this snapping tool helps you now to easily speed up this without that you zoom in. You just activate the snapping function, and you are 100% sure that you aligned your section at the wall. Yeah, this was sometimes a question on the fairs. Yeah, my staff, they make it very quickly and it's maybe uncertain how we can improve this and speed up this process. And this is the tool now to be certain that you make the exact parallel section. And of course, it's much faster now, especially if you make hundreds of these sections, then this is very, very helpful.
Thanks, Richard. So snapping finished. Next thing, area tools. What have we done there? Yeah, I mean, everybody knows it. Here, I want to create the complete house, for example, in a point cloud export. Yeah, let's do a square here. And I want to have the shape a lot better. So, you know, you're able to change the points here, for example, directly to the walls here like that, or like that. And now I have a problem. But PointCab to the rescue, the PointCab team to the rescue, you are now able to insert their new points. So if we move the mouse to the line here, you see the mouse cursor changes. And then I just need to press with the left mouse button and I'm able to insert a new point there. So let's insert 2 new points and I'm able to finish that up nice and closely. Let's do it again here, perhaps with a sketch tool. Let's do an area rather quickly with the snapping. If I want to have the outer bounds, I can click on Make Bounding Rectangle. So I have the bounding rectangle, and of course, there I need to add the missing points and yeah, drag them to the right location, and then I have the room finished. Okay, I guess this was it from my part. I will now give the power of the mouse back to the CTO. Richard, here you go.
Thank you, Martin. Very interesting tools. Yeah, last but not least, I'd like to show you some changes in the registration. So with the first part, we'd like to go to the standard feature-based registration and open a project here. And do I have the mouse? Yes, good. So what we did here, we imported raw scans from a larger project, and in this we organized this project into different clusters. We can see here in the advanced importer, we have, oh, this is now in German, so author, inner, and Scylla. Yeah, so we have 3 clusters, and we can see here, okay, in the Scylla we have two scans, and in the inner scan 7 or 8, and up to 10 outside. Good. So what's pretty new is here a new window below the dual screen. And of course, you can adjust the sizes. And of course, you can also collapse it completely if you like. And you can collapse here one of the views. But you see here all this a matrix. And you know it may be from the quality matrix where you have all the scans and the accuracy. And this is a square matrix, and in the middle you have the identity. If I scroll a bit down, then you see here, okay, we have scan 00 and scan 00. So, and also if I move to the squares here, you see, okay, there's a scan 2 to scan 12 now. Yeah, and we have also information about the cluster information. So in which cluster we are. If I go here in the first rectangle, you can see that we have only one cluster, or both scans in one cluster. And yeah, if I go outside the cluster here, you have the connection between the scans to the cluster. Okay, what we did in the previous year, we searched for all the spheres, and nothing is prepared in terms of connected to or enforce that this feature is another feature. We just search the features or the spheres, and we improved the automatically process for the constellation search a lot. What we are doing is we combine the scans, combine until it's not working anymore. And then we optimize all the combinations, and then we try it again. So this means if you have a bigger project, the possibility that the automatically constellation search, or the process of combining the scans, is increased dramatically. So let's do this. Let's search the constellation. And of course, something updated here. And let's go first to the registration. We have here an overview, how many features has been detected in which scan. And you see all the scans are now in one group. And one group means all the clusters or all the clusters internally has been connected, or the scans in each cluster, and then the cluster has been connected. So now in this matrix, I can easily observe which scans connect which clusters. You see this scan 002 has connections to all the scans here in the second cluster. So then you know which scan connect the inner and the outer part. Also, you see here for the small Scylla cluster, which scans has been used to connect them. So, but you can, this is the indication of which connections are very good. So red means not good, yellow means it's okay, and green means we have a very good quality for the connection. But you can also change here to the overlapping matrix. So it's another view, and this will tell you how many features are between or are assigned between the scans. So you see, okay, here we have 4 between scan 000 and 001 and 5 and so on. And also we have connections between 018 and what is it, 002. Yeah, of course this is mirrored on the diagonal. Yeah, so you could use it. What you can do, of course, you can click here and say, please open the scans in the, whoops, there we are. So the first one and the second one. And if you click here, you can directly open both views in the dual view here. And what you see here now is some of the spheres have a different color. They are orange. What does it mean? The orange features or spheres in this case are spheres visible in 2 clusters. So always the problem is to connect the clusters in a good way and to identify which features have this connection between the clusters. And this helps you dramatically to find errors in the registration. So this is what we introduce here for the feature-based registration. Good. Oh, we are short on time. Let me speed up. I'd like to show you another small project here. And this project is only one cluster and it contains some spheres. And you see here, here's a scan. The scan 16 has no features. So sometimes it happens that you have a project and you want to add a new scan, but there are no spheres anymore. What you did in the past is you clicked corresponding points by hand. And this is sometimes error-proof, and of course, you cannot find very good or you cannot identify very good feature points. But in a scan, you have more than feature points. So let's go here, open scan 15 and 16 is not connected. And let's close this to have more space here, of course, and make it a bit larger. And now we have the possibility to detect planes. You can create planes, of course, by a polygon. Yeah, you go to this wall and say, okay, I'd like to create here with a polygon a plane. But if you have something in between, it's a little bit difficult. And what we can do is if I press the Alt key, like for the
on the left side.
yeah, oh yeah, thank you. Like for the snapping tool, I can just say, okay, please identify a plane here. So what we are calculating now is a representation of the normal vectors of the scan, and then we automatically try to find a good plane in this area having the same normal vectors and approximate this by a polygon. So I identified this in the first scan, and then I can do it also in the second scan. And I click on the same wall. And what you can easily see here, if I use this Alt key, then it becomes the same name and will be set automatically to a manual correspondence. So now I can continue, do this with the next one. And now we have already in the background the representation. It does not need to be calculated anymore. We use this one. And now let's take the floor. And we take the floor here too. This floor is a little bit larger, so it takes a little bit more time to calculate it. So, but
Richard, do you need to calculate 3 planes?
Yes. So at least 3 planes are necessary. And very important is that the 3 planes are not parallel. So you cannot use 2 planes on the opposite side. Yeah, the accuracy then is very poor and it does not work very well. Yeah, so it's very good to use the ground plane and a corner where you have 2 planes, and usually you can see that. So next step, okay. Let's open the advanced importer now. You see here the number of planes, and here also you can see planes we detected, and this indicator here means they are set manually. So of course here you have a description which color is for what purpose. So now we go again for search constellation. So we connect all the scans together, and they become blue because they has been used in the registration. So now I can finish the registration, and we compute automatically the top view. Here you can also see the angle differences and planes. If you have straight planes, they're very good for the registration. And you see here scan 16 is connected to scan 15 properly, and oops, and it will open the next one. Okay, come on. Yeah, and you see here, you have here the straight lines of the walls, and you cannot see any differences from a point-based registration. Good. This is the first thing we did non-automatically. And the next thing, I want to break this registration again. Yeah. Oops. We can close them. Okay. And open the registration. And of course, we have now the assignment. But what we want to do is we have now a pre-registration, and we want to improve the pre-registration. So how we can do that? We can say, please improve the registration. And what we are doing then is we automatically extract all possible planes from a scan. And now we open here scan 14, and
that's already opened.
Yeah.
It's already opened, which is good.
Yeah. Okay. So we extract all the planes from scan 14, 13, and 12. We skip the scans where we made this manual registration. And you see here, we extract them. And we have a lot of planes here now. So of course, we restrict the number of planes per scan. We restrict also the size of the scan. And maybe I can show you how we do it. Here you have the layers of the scan, of course, like with the sheets. Yeah, and we pre-compute here the a representation of the normal directions. Sometimes this helps you to understand where are the normals. Yeah? Maybe you never see this. Here we have the ground plane and the top plane, and you see here we have here a straight plane and here a plane, and of course you have sometimes very small planes where you have breaks in the scan, and of course if you have a window you have some crap around the window and so on. Yeah, so when we calculate the planes, we do it from here. And you see here also in 13 is the other planes extracted already, and now 12 is left.
To give you some perspective about the speed, we are using here Faro files with 1/4 resolution, meaning we have 10,000 times 4,000 rows and columns in the image around that.
So this means we have 50 million pixels, yeah, and we calculate here the normals with a kind of super pixel. So we collect multiple points in a certain area and calculate the normals. So now all the planes has been done, been calculated, but they are not assigned yet. So to assign them automatically, I say, okay, search a constellation again. And now you see they change to blue because they has been assigned between the scans. And I can finalize the registration now. And the top view, front view, and left view will be calculated again. So you see they are a little bit bigger now. And finally,
but to say that again, you need a relative motion between scans, so you're able to assign the plane features there.
Yeah. So now we have there. Now we have an improved registration, especially if you have only weak configurations. Yeah, but you have good approximations, then it's very helpful to improve the registration and make it straight. So, and here we come to the last point we mentioned already in the beginning. What we, of course, expected to provide you in this version already is that we extract the planes automatically, and then you say, okay, this both are overlapped, and without any prior knowledge of the relative orientation between two scans, we automatically search the correspondences of the planes. It worked, but it worked not stable enough yet. So we hopefully will release this with an update that you can automatically assign the planes, and we hopefully do it for small clusters also, that we can connect the clusters automatically.
I think
okay, so,
the right word there is not hopefully. We will provide you with that in a revision update in a short while of time.
Yes, so we are close in time. We have already 1 hour.
So then let's wrap that up, right, Richard? Perhaps, as you saw, now we have 1 full hour. We talked about the new most important things, but let me show you quickly the new stuff here. For example, the other features which we didn't mention. For example, elements and panoramas are getting saved. Richard mentioned that. You're able, when you import Regal files, RSP files, that you have a panorama in there, and you can check that out. We've included an RTX scan files import together with the project type, which is called handheld mode. Space warp, if you export your elements in file export elements, the space warps will be included there as well. You're able to do alignments between your projects. So you align project A and you can bring in the alignment into project B and C. What I've shown is you're able to colorize your height points and vector lines based on the layer in PointCab. This the distance tool and the sketch text is now movable by clicking on them and dragging them around. But please check that all out. in our changelog on our website. I think this is the English one, so let me change to the English one. So go to news and there to changelog, and then you can see there all new features we have provided to you. And with that, I'd like to close and give the last word to Chris McAuliffe, please.
1 second, you forget something. Of course, because we changed the internal structure of our format, we also updated our Revit plugin that will be available with the same at the same date as the 7th. So you need to update it. And of course, the update of the Revit plugin can be worked with the PointCab 3.9 and the PointCab Origins 4.0. Thank you. Chris, your turn.
Thank you, Richard and Martin. Great session. Yeah, as you could all see, we're kind of short in time here. We're already 3 minutes over what we had actually planned. So I hope this session has helped all of you to understand more on the latest and greatest. The time today did not allow us to cover everything on Origins 4.0. So please feel free to schedule a demo with us, or go to support@pointcab-software.com. See the changelog as Martin mentioned. Thank you all for attending. And remember that our webinar series, PointCab Geospatial Weeks, which this is part of, continues over the next months throughout June 21. So for example, a new panel discussion that came up now in June that I personally find exciting is discussing the future of independent scanning software. That's being hosted by Richard here, and our esteemed guests are going to be the CTOs of ClearEdge, Cloud Compare, and Survey Control Center. So also an interview for Confessions of a Hired Gun with Sam Billingsley, well known in the US in the geospatial market is one of them, and many, many others. You can also find all of that on our new website and see what other seminars would be available for you. So that's all that for now. Have a great day for all of you across the Atlantic, and have a great afternoon and evening for all of you in Europe. Thank you, goodbye, and talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
PointCab. All point clouds, one software.